Hello and welcome to the side quest. We are back after a long extended break. I am Whymsy. I am currently, I played Genshin Impact for the first time in 6 months and I'm not sure I'm going to play it again. Alongside me is Stark, who was 100%ing absolutely every game that he has touched since the start of the year. And Cardinal, who continues to crash his car anytime he picks up a set of Corsa.
I thought he meant a real car there for a second. I'm
No,
sorry, I got genuinely worried.
He probably wouldn't be here if that happened.
I'm not allowed to drive real cars.
No, yeah.
No.
Yeah, yes, for pretty evident reasons. But as per usual, we are here to pick up a side quest, lads. How are you? How you doing?
Finally recovered. I'm back in the office from a long extended break due to a pandemic, lockdown, and then followed by us actually getting COVID.
Yeah.
So
I think it was like the first time that it was like, oh, restrictions are lifted, let's go out. Or very soon after anyway. A bunch of us went out and all got COVID.
every single one of us.
I didn't because I was too busy playing Final Fantasy and racing. So I didn't leave my room. Proven to be the most effective way to not get any viruses.
Lighten up a little bit there.
I mean, that's fair though. That's a good way to avoid it. But yeah, it does suck. Don't get COVID. Recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Go stay and play Final Fantasy.
Get Maidens, not COVID.
Yes. Well,
In Elden Ring, not. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
Alrighty, well, speaking of Elden Ring, we'll start off with how we normally start off most episodes, which is we kind of talk about the games that we've been playing the last month, or in this case, the last 3 months, as
it has been a while.
it has been a while since we've been in the studio. So I will go with Cardinal first.
Oh,
What
I
have
was
you
not
been
expecting that. Ooh.
Get spicy.
What have I been playing since the start of the year? I have been reliving my glory days of when I was in college, and I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which released on Steam a while back, and it's surprisingly good. I thought Co-Money would want, a very pay-to-win approach, but
Oh, Co-Money. I was like, it's not Co-Money.
Co-Money, yeah. It's been very, very fun. I have to say that the simulator is good. It's probably like there's some minor bugs here and there, like with card effects not going off sometimes and that, but overall it's been very, very fun, and they've been very, very generous with their like initial like the gems you get for like crafting decks and stuff. So
Is this Duel Links?
no, Duel Links was the mobile game, and it wasn't like traditional Yu-Gi-Oh! Like there was like a lot of different limitations and stuff, and it didn't have all the cards in the game, but this is like every card in the game, regular like rule set.
Because the only thing I know about Yu-Gi-Oh games is Duel Links, and that all the drug dealers in my area play it. And I'm not sure why.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, that's
Okay, well, I'm not associated with these people. Like, actually, no cap. But it's just common knowledge that for some reason they all play Duel Links.
that's just their thing. That's what
Yeah.
they do in their downtime.
Don't know. Apparently, it's
That's how they get you hooked. They say, "Hey, have you heard of the successful mobile game Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links?" And then suddenly,
they're on you're on heroin.
yeah,
So they sell you drugs to get you off the addiction to TCGs.
That's so big. Well, actually, to be honest, I say drugs is probably better than being addicted to GT.
Yeah, like Magic or something. Yeah, for sure.
Less expensive and
Yeah.
less life destroying.
Yes, agreed. So I've been playing that. That's been very fun. I've been playing. I've been doing a lot of driving. I've joined I joined 3 racing leagues since the last podcast. I completed 1, and it was an unequivocal disaster.
yeah.
Nice.
It was very eye-opening. I'm like okay in the car, but I'm definitely not anywhere close to the people that are actually experienced with
Yeah.
racing. And even though sometimes I can do a quick lap around the track, when there's like 40 other cars on the track with you, it's very scary.
Yeah.
Very,
I
very
feel
scary.
like whenever I watch you play a set of Corsa, it's like watching myself play F1, where you're doing pretty solidly for a lot of it, and then just one thing will happen, and it just like ruins an entire lap, and suddenly you've lost 3 places, and you're kind of just there like, I can't believe it fucking happened. And
Is there any power ups on
Okay.
the course?
Uh,
What's your favorite power
yeah.
up?
I am a fan of my favorite power up, and my special ability, I guess you could say, is spinning the car out and facing the wrong direction when there's absolutely no one else around me.
I thought it was unsafe, like re-entries.
No, that
That's
was
a swag move. It's style points.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely some kind of points anyway. Maybe license points is more along the line, But I completed one league and I joined two more. One more kind of short-term race. I'm doing endurance races with my friends. We just did a 9-hour race around Silverstone on Saturday. We finished 17th, which was very good for a 40-something car.
That's like such a long time to end the 17th, though, don't you think?
Well, it's a lot
Like
better
a
than
9-hour commitment to not even get podium.
Well, I mean, only 3 cars can get a podium out of
So why is anyone else racing?
150 drivers.
Sure, it's like you commit 8 hours to a job every day. That's a long commitment.
You're not wrong, it is, but like...
I'm surprised with myself because I'm normally very afraid of commitment, but when it comes to endurance races, I only had to do 3 hours in the car, so
I suppose that's fair. But like for the other 6 hours, are you there cheering your teammates on, or just like fuck off to Burger King?
I kind of go in and out. Like I'll be there for a while. You have like a spotter. So someone who's not driving can still be in the server and they can spectate all the other cars and watch the track, and someone will say like, oh, the car ahead of you, you're catching them by like half a second every lap, so you're going to catch up to them soon, or car coming behind you is like very quick, so don't battle them, just let them through because they're going to pass you anyway, and so on. Or if there's a crash, someone will be like, right, 2 turns from now there's going to be a big crash, just make sure you slow down so you don't randomly cause a bigger crash.
I'm gonna hit you with an opinion here. Maybe this is incorrect. An opinion.
Go on.
But like, so obviously when you hear about all this car stuff, like in reality all you're doing is emulating like what the real
Zoom.
people do. But nobody thinks of like the car racing and people doing that and think it's like, I don't think it's cringe. I hear it and it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. So why do people who get super into like the Arma 3 military stuff and they're like doing their call signs and stuff, why do people think like, God, that's so cringe? Or like LARPers and stuff like that? Because you're functionally LARPing.
Have you met those people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, valid point. But like, you are technically LARPing.
Yeah, I used to do both. I used to do milsim.
Yeah.
Did you do real LARPing though?
No, not in real life. I used to play Arma 3 with a group for like military simulation.
Oh shit, damn.
And I did it for like 2 years.
Holy shit.
It was very we used to do operations, they call them, every Wednesday and
Like,
Sunday
I'm sorry,
night.
I can't even take it seriously. You're just listening to this little bit.
But like there was like, I think there was like 60 people in the battalion, so like you would have usually around 50 plus people in the TeamSpeak server all at once, and we had a mod where your proximity chat in game, you could only speak to people nearby you, and if you had a radio you could communicate with the rest of the squad, but only like the officers would have a long range radio to communicate with the other squads. So like it was actually pretty cool, and the kind of, what would you call them, I guess the admins and the like long-standing members of this group would make up the mission, and they would give you a brief document beforehand, like detailing what's happening and where you're going to be going and what the objective is, and you would have a briefing session in the voice chat where your lieutenant would go through a list of everything that's going to be happening and who's doing what, and
it's just so insane.
It's full on LARPing.
What rank were you?
It is absolutely.
What was your rank?
I was just
You're a private.
I was
peasant?
they used the system of like the British Armed Forces, so it was like a rifleman and like a I can't really remember 100%, but there was like riflemen, there was like sergeants, we had like you had
Did you have
to
to make coffee for people?
no, surprisingly not.
So it was like you're in the middle of a gunfight and it's like, oh my goodness, we need backup, Jason, get us a coffee.
No, surprisingly not.
Rifleman power. Starbucks.
Yeah.
Now.
Starbucks. But yeah, it was good. But they are functionally the same. I guess there was a really good quote by a sim racing content creator a couple of months back. There was like a real life racing team put out a statement, because with COVID and the pandemic and everything, like there's been a lot more sim racing in the spotlight, like professional drivers taking part in events and so on. And there was like a racing team, like the head of a racing team in real life, basically made a tweet saying that like sim racing is just a joke, like, and it's just
that's not cool.
No, it's not cool. And
that's not cool.
A very prolific racing content creater came along and said that like even though the cars and the tracks are all virtual, the racing is real. And like racing, if you want to go karting or you want to go out and drive like a touring car or something, it's crazy money. Like
there's no power-ups in real life.
No, it's so expensive.
Well, hang on, let's not pretend that sim racing isn't expensive.
Or you compare it
to like real driving.
How much could it be to go karting?
Like go-karting is one thing, but if you want to buy your own cart and like take part in events and so on,
exactly,
Just
and that's like entry level as well.
Yeah, and then you have to pay for your engine, you have to pay for new tires all the time, you have to pay for entry to the tracks, you have to pay like so much money, and that's just for a go-kart.
That's why everyone involved, like everyone who like does professionally in real life, is
sponsored and stuff, right?
Already very rich, or they have like for example, like Lewis Hamilton's the famous example where basically his dad had to work like 2 full-time jobs at the same time. Was it 2 full-time jobs? I don't know, but basically had to work his ass off just to like 3. Sorry, producers told us 3 jobs.
So his son could go vroom.
Yeah, but now his son is the best, probably the best vroom of all time. So it was definitely a good bet.
He is good at the vroom.
All right.
So I went on a bit of a tangent there.
Yeah,
Apologies.
no,
I never
it's
do
fine.
That, so.
I think let's move on to your games from the last month as well.
To my games?
Yeah, or last 3 months.
Last 3 months.
Okay, but don't touch the big one.
Okay, well, I'm not going to touch the big one.
We'll talk about that.
I actually will slightly mention the big one because up until you said I've been 100%ing every game, I completely forgot about every other game I played because Elden Ring has taken over my life. But if we don't talk about that, so before that, I played loads of Legends Arceus. I actually don't think I realized how much of a Pokemon simp I am. Even after gushing over Brilliant or Shining Pearl last year, even after gushing over that, until getting Arceus and spending like 60 hours on it over like a week, which is quite a lot for me on a Switch game.
I think that's quite a lot for most people.
I guess, maybe, yeah. But, and then I just fucking love Pokemon Arceus. It's so good. I 100%ed it. I did every single quest. Well, okay, that's a lie. I didn't 100% it because I didn't fully perfect every dex entry because I'm not a masochist, an actual fucking psychopath. But I did level 10 every single Pokemon, and then I got a living dex. And then I was tempted to get a living shiny dex. But then Elden Ring came out, so that went out the fucking hole. I got like 40 shinies.
A living shiny dex?
Yeah, I got 40 shinies.
Fucking hell.
That's
a Grussel.
That is a Grussel, yeah.
Now, shinies are a lot easier to get in Arceus.
That's still, though.
Compared to other games, but still, it was quite the grind. So I did that. Literally was it last night? What day is it today?
Today is Tuesday.
Yeah, was it last night? Yeah, I do raid on Mondays, yeah. No, it was Sunday. Jesus, that I actually have lost
It was Sunday.
Time is a social construct.
I beat the current Savage tier in Final Fantasy, so I'm done with that game now until next tier, I guess. I don't really think have I even played anything else. I think my entire life has just been consumed by Legends Arceus and Elden Ring.
You've had the pattern of you drop everything else in life and tunnel vision on one game, and then the new one comes out.
And I just completely dropped that then. Yeah, like I just completely straight out the way and go into a new game. So that's been my life, honestly. We could talk. I imagine we're going to talk about Elden Ring later on, so I won't say anything about that. But that's my existence. Oh, actually, that's a lie. I also started playing Genshin again, like actually playing Genshin.
Oh yeah,
which was wild because like, for all I talk about it and as much as I roll in it and all of the merchandise I buy, I actually hadn't really properly played it, I say, in about a year. So, and then I actually played loads the week before Legends Arceus came out, and I really enjoyed that. So that was really fun too.
Cool.
Even though I actually I played, I'd say like 40 hours. I only did the first Island of Inazuma, but I 100%ed it. So maybe I do have a problem with just ending games at the eventually.
Well, that's not a problem if you like to play it that way. It's I mean, it's kind of thing. Definitely not my sort of thing, but
because you're a filthy casual.
I'm not a filthy casual. Well, in some aspects. I was about to say that. I was about to talk about how I've maxed all my crafting skills in Final Fantasy.
Oh my god! Don't even mention that. It's actually just. I nearly got sick looking at the screenshot on Discord the other day. Oh my goodness.
I don't. Why such a strong reaction?
Because you're now an Omnicrafter.
But like, I just did
People
it.
probably won't even understand what that means.
The main reason I did it was just to have the numbers go up. That was the main thing.
That's pretty fair.
Isn't that why we just play games in general?
So it was to have the numbers go up, and then so also I could make my own stuff. That's literally it. I don't want.
Can you pentamail my gear?
I mean, I can.
Sorry, not gonna get.
But you need to provide.
Yeah, but you need to give me the.
I'm
give
poor
me the
as
stuff.
shit.
Well, I'll just ask your static.
That's true. Yeah.
Ask your new mates for some
go
money.
Begging in Limsa. That's what I did, and no one wanted me.
It's because you're a male.
You have like
aura.
the three different like styles of Final Fantasy. You've got the person who's finished the Savage tier. You have the guy who does all the crafting and gathering, and then you have the Limsa Laminsa player RPing with everybody. So yeah, Final Fantasy, a game for everybody.
Give me Gil.
But aside from that, I also played a bit of Legends Arceus. I didn't get as much into it though as everybody did. I think it's just, I don't know if it's my style of game, not my style of game. I think that having to like, first of all, it kind of struggled. One of the first quests I had would not tell me how many points for a certain Pokedex entry I had to get. So I was kind of just there like, I guess I'll just keep catching Pokemon. And I go back and he's like, nope, still not enough. And it's like,
you have to complete the Dex entry. You have to get level 10.
Yeah, but he didn't say that to me though.
Peasant.
So I was kind of just there like, do I go back? And he's like, no, you gotta get a bit more info. It's like, how much more? I don't know. So yeah, that kind of annoyed me initially, and then I think as well, I don't know, that was around the time that the Savage tier was kind of like happening, and so I was kind of leaving it a little bit alone. I also played a little bit of Genshin Impact. Still not really sold on that game.
Don't be. What do you mean sold?
Well, not like financially sold, but I mean
you don't
like,
get sold. You sell yourself.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It's just not. It feels like, obviously it looks very Breath of the Wildy, but I think that versus Breath of the Wild, it kind of lacks a lot of like the.
Yeah, but Breath of the Wild doesn't have waifus, so actually, to be honest, Breath of the Wild does have good waifus, but you can't play as them, so it's relevant.
Yeah, but it's just a case of the way the game handles versus Breath of the Wild. I don't like it as much, and there's like certain other things that kind of just irritate me a little bit. Also, I think the game's money system is just something I'll never be able to wrap my head around, and it kind of just keeps me away.
Magic the Gathering player,
too many
by
currencies.
Magic
the Gathering, I could just spend my IRL money to get the cards, and then I have them. Magic the Gathering Arena is a different story, but I don't play that game anymore.
Oh, coping.
That's actually been it, really. I thought there was a few other things that I might have played, but no, I mean, recently it's mostly just been Final Fantasy 14, and of course, the game that we've all kind of avoided, but we've all played.
How long did it take you to max all your crafters and gatherers in Final Fantasy 14?
Are we talking about in terms of days or in terms of the hours invested?
Both.
Well, I started maybe kind of towards the start of the year, but I definitely took big breaks. Like after I got all my gatherers to 90, I just didn't do anything for a month, and then I just started my crafters like maybe a little over a month ago.
Jesus.
But it's the kind of thing where it's like you don't have to hard grind.
I mean, I guess you're done now.
Yeah,
right? You never have to do it again.
Well, until next expansion.
But that's only 10 levels each.
Exactly,
time,
yeah. And plus, the last 10 levels were by far and away the least boring part, because it was a case of, oh, now I'm just doing leaves, so I can go and kind of like get my own stuff, and it's like I had all my leaves saved up, so it was easy. But yeah. So like I said, done it once, now it's out of the way. Let's go. Cool. We're gonna move on to now our main topic, and I say topic, it's very, very loose because of the whole COVID thing. This is kind of impromptu, not
spicy,
super 100% scheduled, but kind of talked about what was happening. Myself and Cardinal were kind of discussing it because Stark's been out for this week, out sleeping. And yeah, we kind of just were going over everything that's happened so far in 2022 and everything that's coming up, and it's like there's a lot going on. So I kind of just want to talk about 2022 in games and kind of what the year ahead, or the year so far, has kind of had in store for us. And I think one thing that kind of is an initial headline for 2022 already is that already it's kind of set itself up to be, hopefully this isn't something that come back to bite me, but it's kind of set itself up to be this like landmark year in games almost, because already, even just in the month of February alone, the strength of like the releases over that period has been crazy. And of course, we have to start with Elden Ring, because already people are like, the hype and the joy just surrounding the game post release has been like insane across the board.
Good game.
And of course we have a Dark Souls style evangelist on the opposite side of the thing for me. We have Mr. 100% hardcore gamer himself in the middle. So we kind of have like two people who definitely, but even then, like I'm more kind of casual, and I've touched it as well. So, but it's something we've all played anyway. So I want to start off with it. I'm gonna go actually with Stark first.
Yeah,
because Stark has played the most of it.
I've actually completed it as well. I think I'm the only person here who's actually fully completed the game. So, yeah, good game. Would rate 10 out of 10. Find the dog. Get your pickle.
All right,
definitely. There's no hidden paths ahead.
No hidden paths. Only liars ahead.
Only liars ahead. No, but legitimately. Now it has its faults. It definitely has its faults, and I'm sure we'll get into that in a second. But I don't know. I just feel, because I played Dark Souls 1 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. I thought it was amazing. Played Dark Souls 2, never finished it. Played Dark Souls 3, never finished it. Played Bloodborne, never finished it. Played Sekiro. I did everything in Sekiro except the last boss, because I'll be honest, I was never really involved in the story. And it's like the Sword Saint, right? He's the last boss, or at least I assume he's the last boss.
Yeah, he is.
And I was fighting him, and I died, and then I fought him again, and I was fighting for a while, and then he went into his phase 2, and I was like, you know what? I just don't care. Like, I actually just don't care.
Oh, you stop.
Like,
That sounds
so close.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds very casual.
Yeah.
But like, I just didn't care, so I stopped in Sekiro. I never did the last boss of Sekiro. But then Elden Ring, I was fucking Newman everywhere. I fucking thought like, it's just so good to be able to just like walk around. The open world, I thought was gonna be a bit shit at the start, and there are lit bits of it that I do think are shit, but just the ability to like wander around and just find a cave and go in and murder every single inhabitant of that cave and then leave with good loot is like, it's just been a breath of fresh air, honestly. Good game. I'll let you have a little bit of a moment now.
Yeah, I was looking forward to Elden Ring for a long time. I just want to point out that it seems like an age since Elden Ring was teased, because they teased it and then it just went away for years.
Yeah. I didn't even really know it existed until like I'd say last November.
I was extremely hyped at first, because I would be hyped for any sort of From Software new IP or release, and then they announced that George R.R. Martin was going to do the world building for it, which is also very exciting because I enjoyed reading Game of Thrones, or Song of Ice and Fire, if you want to be actually.
Just got sick of my mouth. Sorry.
So I have that effect with a lot of people. So I was very excited, right? And I was worried as well. Like, when I heard it was going to be open world, I was like, oh, there's so many open world games, like, and most of them are just boring. Like, just go from marker to marker. Like, I loved The Witcher 3, but if The Witcher 3 hadn't have been open world, like, the story and everything else would have still been fantastic. But, you know, like, just opening your map and you just see all these markers, and I'm like, okay, let's put a waypoint there, and now I'm looking at my HUD. Okay, let's just beeline through the forest, like, straight there. I'm not like searching or exploring. It's just like going from point to point. Open world games have been like done to death now. I think they're like
I kind of finished with them.
They're like the new zombie games. You know,
I say that, but 2 open world games are my favorite games. Like, ever, to be honest. So.
But I was a bit worried, right, just for that reason, because like, in some sense, Dark Souls 1 was technically open world. Like,
it wasn't though.
It wasn't.
It
but
was
at the
Metroidvania,
same time, you can go anywhere.
Yeah,
like,
but it was all linear, right?
It is, yeah, but. You know, you can go from the beginning of the world in Dark Souls 1 all the way to the end practically without any loading screens or anything. Isn't that the definition of open world?
No, I don't think it is, because it's not, because there's still corridors, right? You're still going down corridors in Dark Souls 1, whereas in I literally said Breath of the Wild. In Elden Ring, it's like you've started. Oh my god. Okay. Did you ever just like come up with an analogy and you're like, holy fucking shit, I'm a genius?
Okay, go on.
Jason definitely comes up with an analogy.
So, you know, maybe this is like a very Irish thing, but you know, like the greens you have in the States.
Yeah.
Okay.
The greens.
How they're like big circles around.
He's talking about fields, by the way.
No.
More so like patches of grass.
No,
in like a
not patches of grass.
Like a lawn.
No, not a lawn. Oh, I'm fucking triggered.
Yeah, but like our viewers are not going to know what a green is if they're not from Ireland.
You know, okay, but okay, fair. Okay, so it's functionally a field with a ring road around it, okay? And you start at one corner. So Dark Souls is like you have to go on the road to get around it. But you can go in either way kind of deal, but you're still on the road. Whereas Elden Ring is like you're on the corner and you can go any way across the field to get to the other side. God, I'm such a fucking genius. That's such a good analogy. You can use that one for free.
It is a good analogy.
We did have to spend like a good amount of time trying to get across the concept of green.
Yeah.
To non-Irish
Shut
viewers.
So triggered. Sorry, I completely derailed your point.
No, you're fine. You're fine. That's what we're here for. So I was very, very excited. I just want to point out that even though Elden Ring was announced so long ago, we've had Elden Ring announced. It goes like radio silent for years. Then trailer comes out, game releases, everyone loves it, and we still don't know when Silksong is coming out. Hollow Knight, Silksong. And I just want to point that out.
That game definitely exists.
That's not happening.
It has to happen. It has to. Anyway.
What build are you doing in Elden Ring?
Elden Ring, I am going all in on strength.
Yeah.
All in on strength. I have this Zweihander and that's it. You know, I saw a great meme where it's like, you know, the From Software devs, they put in all this effort of putting in like cool spells and weapon arts and horseback combat, and they've got, you know, faith builds, arcane builds, intelligence builds, and all this kind of stuff. You know, they've got like elemental weapons and weapon buffs, and they come along and they're like, okay, what would you like to play as? And I'm like, warrior, please. And they're like, don't you want to try some of this new magic and weapon arts and, you know, aerial combat and horseback? I'm like, two-handed greatsword, please. And they're like, so what about dexterity and intelligence? And now you can get armor that actually buffs your stats, so you don't have to put it. And I'm just like, 40 strength, please. and that's it. And yeah, it's like probably the most basic way to play the game.
Oh no, it's so good though. Jump attack, just papaga through. It's like you're Goomba stomping at mob one after another.
Your first playthrough always has to be a max strength build, like it does.
How far are you in? What level are you?
I'm level 50, I think.
Oh, okay, I'm way ahead of you.
Yes, so what happened was because I've been the same as you, I've been raiding a lot in Final Fantasy. I've also been doing a lot of driving. I played the game for like 35 hours over the first weekend that it came out because I had some days off work as well. And I just literally have not been able to play it since.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fair, yeah.
Because I'm raiding, I'm progging the current Savage tier in Final Fantasy. I'm also progging the first Ultimate Fight on the weekends. And then I'm racing in between and practicing to make sure that I'm not...
You're a busy man.
I am, and I don't even leave my bedroom. Like, and then I have work on top of all that, and then I also, you know, have to like go outside for fresh air or something.
Touching grass sometimes.
Touching the grace outside, exactly.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to play it that much, but what I have played, I've really, really loved. I had the same worries as you. I thought open world might just be like kind of empty, you know, it's just like a bit boring, but... I think the way they've done the open world is fantastic. I love how anywhere you go, like no matter where you're standing, you can just do a 360 with your camera and you will see something that looks interesting and be like, I wonder what's over there.
And there will be something.
Yeah. Don't listen to streamers that we will remain unnamed who said that there's nothing to find in the open world, because
I don't even know who said that, but that's just like actually incorrect.
That was a very spicy take even from my standards, but I have really, really loved it. I think it's taken the best elements of practically all the Souls games and brought them into like an open world that actually feels fun.
Can you talk about what's bad though before you direct us away from Elden Ring? Unless you have something to say.
I was gonna.
What's your opinion on it?
Oh, sorry. I got that look from Whymsy. I was like, oh no, we
But I was like, it's my turn to speak.
Oh yes, no, of course.
Yeah, because I was like, I have a slightly different perspective as someone who,
casual.
I've played. So I played like a little bit of, I think it was Dark Souls 2, but like when I say a little bit, I mean like maybe like an hour. And then I played like some Bloodborne, but even then I didn't get like too far into it. And kind of both of those games, I just didn't really vibe with from the start. Like even before I get the combat, I think it's just like the aesthetics not really kind of my style.
You didn't vibe with the aesthetics of Bloodborne?
Not really. No, I thought some of it was cool, but it is, and I quote, very London. So
who are you quoting, Whymsy? Who are you quoting?
It's
couldn't be me.
London can be good aesthetic.
It's very, it kind of just is, but I don't know, it just didn't. So it's very dark and kind of dour, and it's just like it being quiet and all. I'm kind of just like, it doesn't feel cool when I play it. But Elden Ring, on the other hand, so I was worried I was kind of just going to go into it and kind of throw it away for like after a while, but no, Elden Ring is a lot cooler. I think that the open world does help it because you kind of go outside and you kind of can see everything, and it's very much like, okay, I could go over here, and like you guys said, any kind of direction that you do go, you will end up finding something that you can kind of like do. There's always like the small like caves on the side that you can kind of go in, and there's like the enemies that you fight in there. All of those fights are really cool every time, even if like some of them are easy. And like I said, as someone who was not very experienced, the first cave I walked into, got my head bashed in a few times, then obviously you kind of figure out the mechanics, like, oh yeah, it goes there. Then you find the first like actual boss, and it's like, oh Jesus Christ, this is a lot tougher.
Margaret does clap cheeks.
Yeah, Margaret has been clapped, but even then, like, I think I would have thought before Elden Ring that a game that kind of like looked that kind of style wasn't really my thing. I think I'm into more like kind of more like stylized, not necessarily cartoony, but like kind of those I'm not going to say like realistic is the term, but like Elden Ring is kind of at least very like AAA adjacent in terms of like it's like graphical design.
There's some things they have in Elden Ring that are actually like disgusting.
Yeah,
like I feel ill looking at what's happening on my screen.
I think everything just like looks so like detailed and unique as well, and like the general aesthetic of the world is really bright. I think that combined with all of like the really kind of like you said, the stuff that's just ugly and kind of the dark caves, the contrast between those, I actually just really like it. I think it looks fantastic, and the whole vibe of the world. I like the kind of general concept of the story, and I think the way that it's kind of being like drip fed to me, I'm actually okay with. Normally, I think with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, the fact that it's kind of just like, you are here, do thing. It's like,
I don't know, I kind
why?
of felt the same in Elden Ring, to be honest. Maybe I'm
really
just bad
care.
at reading.
Well, it's more so. I think it's more so
reading.
it's a cool thing where it's like, you're tarnished and you got to get here and all this kind of stuff. Like I said, I don't really understand it, but I'm okay with it. Maybe it's just the vibe of the world, but yeah, overall, I think compared to all the other Souls-like games that I have tried, this is the only one that's kind of kept my attention, and I can see why people really like it so much. It's the kind of game that actually makes me want to kind of learn how to play it and get good at it. You were saying you want to talk about the stuff you want to give out about. I do have a few issues that I've kind of said about. First of all, and some people are getting absolutely clowned on Twitter for it, and sometimes I think the guy who's giving it about the UI stuff he's a little bit over the top, or the UX stuff, but at the same time, I think that the game is like, especially as a PC port, does really not offer you a lot, which is just...
Are you playing with mouse and keyboard?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Why can't I play on mouse and keyboard the way I play most of my games?
From Software, I don't even know what a mouse and keyboard looks like.
I have heard that, but they should fucking learn. So like, there's no real excuse to them in 2022 to
What's
be like...
your light attack button on mouse and keyboard?
What's my light attack button? Left click.
Okay.
So yeah.
What's jump? Is it spacebar?
No, jump is F. It's so cursed.
Oh, spacebar's roll, isn't it?
Spacebar's roll.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, it just feels so strange.
But I've heard that Elden Ring, like, of all the From Software games, like, Elden Ring is like on the same level as like Sekiro, as like accessible on keyboard and mouse. I've heard it's actually not that bad. If you tried to play original Dark Souls 1 on PC,
it's still, but it's like, who did these keybinds though? Like, it's like they mapped them directly one-to-one to controller, because
they probably did.
Yeah, because like, if I want to, do the whatever the quick menu is for like the return thing, or the one I now have to like bring out the horsey, it's E and your arrow buttons, which is like, who?
It's the D-pad, like, yeah.
Yeah, like, what psychopath?
What's sprint?
What's sprint? Sprint is
Hold spacebar.
What is sprint? I don't know. I kind of just like use my horse to get around.
The horse can sprint.
The horse can sprint. Oh, it's space.
So it is hold spacebar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's mapped 1-to-1.
Yeah. But so yeah, that is.
I'll agree with that. Like, they could do better for the PC port is not. It's not like anything to write home about. It's not like the new God of War. Like, that was a fantastic PC port. Yeah. Or, I'm struggling to think of another example of a good PC port.
Genshin Impact.
Yeah, but Genshin on PC is very good. But I agree, that's a valid complaint. I think the fact that even if you're not using a controller, you have to manually turn on the keyboard and mouse like UI prompts.
I could not get past character creation the first time I loaded the game because of that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because it doesn't tell you how to go back to change your thing.
Oh my god.
So I was like,
what?
I just restarted the game to go back to the character creator thing, and then it's like, okay,
that's so stupid.
Yeah, like in 2022, it's very simple to just have a detection of like, is there a controller plugged in? If not, just default to keyboard and mouse. Yeah. I'll agree with that. That's fair.
Yeah. In terms of accessibility, which has been kind of the main thing around the game, I'm kind of in two minds about it.
What do people mean by accessibility? Like,
I think
being shit at the game?
I think kind of, yeah. I think that I would 100% understand the point of most of the Dark Souls fans who kind of say that the whole point of the game is for it to be difficult. Because I mean, there is like a space for that. I think, for example, there's another game that came out recently called Sifu, which is a game where the whole point of it is just like bash your head against the wall to learn kind of how to beat these fights. But like, that is very like fundamentally the core of the game. Is just, you are a guy who's fighting to kind of, get through these levels. And obviously, if you die, you kind of go older, and that's how the mechanics work. And then if you lose it, you go back to the start. But the thing is that there's so much other content in Elden Ring that it's like, it feels like, okay, here's all this cool stuff to explore, and like all this like this crazy open world that like looks really interesting and looks like really engaging. But in order to do it, you have to like be good at games. And it's like, what if I kind of, like, what if I see this really cool release, but like, I'm not really a gamer, but this looks kind of cool. And it's like, no, you have to learn how to play. It's like,
I don't know. People are so gatekeepy about Dark Souls games.
It's really, it's just like, like I get that it's cool that the game is difficult, but the fact that everything is kind of locked behind this difficulty, especially for a game that like I said, is going to be Game of the Year, it has all this buzz about it.
It is going to be Game of the Year.
It's like, it's just, I think that it doesn't necessarily have to be an easier option. I just think that more of the game could be made accessible to, I think, a wider player base. You could still have this super difficult content, and I think a game that does that quite well actually is Hollow Knight, where you can kind of go find these really difficult fights, and you can go find, is it the Path of Pain? It's like the one room where you have to like, it's like
that's a platforming challenge,
yeah, exactly, yeah. You have like all these crazy challenges in the game that people can go and seek out,
or the Pantheon.
Yeah, but at the same time, still, like, most of the game is still challenging to an extent, but it's not nearly as close.
I think the two most difficult bosses I found in Elden Ring are both optional.
That's cool.
I actually think most of the difficult bosses in Elden Ring are actually optional. I think you can technically do the entire campaign and miss like every single difficult boss if you want to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think people just need to like. It's not obvious immediately how to do things, but I guess there is the options there. I mean, you only need 2 great runes, I'm pretty sure, to actually beat the game. So you can do Godric and another one. You don't need to do the actual hard ones. My gripes with the game are less so like that. They're actual things in the game. I think the teleporters are fucking garbage, should never been put in the game.
The ones where you walk up to them?
Yeah, and you examine. It's like, would you like to teleport to another? What's the point in having your game be open world and then having these teleporters? It completely defeats the purpose to me.
I think it depends on the teleporter.
Well, I don't want to say spoilers, but like,
there's some teleporters that will allow you to get places that are inaccessible otherwise.
But like, my point is that, so I think the big one for me is, in the bottom left of the Liurna Lake, the big plateau on the map that you go underneath to the village of the Albinaurics. I don't know if you've been there, but basically there's like a massive plateau, and then underneath is a village. You can go to the village, you can explore the village, but you can't get to the plateau. And I spent ages trying to find out how to get up there. It's just a teleporter later on one of the quest lines. That's fucking lame. Like, why have I got this open world and I've got this place I can see that looks really cool and there's a lot of stuff up there, and I'm spending my time trying to figure out how to get up there, but there's actually no way to get up there. It's just
it's impossible. Yeah,
it sucks. And there's like a few of the other ones as well. Like a lot of the divine towers are teleporters that are just in random places that you would never think to find. So it just feels very disconnected, and I don't understand the point of having important places and cool places being disconnected when you have an open world game.
Okay.
That just doesn't really make sense to me, to be perfectly honest. That's one annoying thing for me.
Yeah.
The map. Why the fuck can't I open it in combat? And why do I have to open it so often?
Map is one that needs to be.
I remember someone put a thing on Twitter, and it's like, if the game was made by Ubisoft, law, and they had a mini map in the top right, and I'm like, the game fucking should have a mini map.
No,
like,
I don't want one.
But no, it's not about wanting one. It's the fact that every 30 seconds, if I'm trying to find a way up a cliff, I have to open my map, close my map, go around. Am I facing the direction? Open my map. I'm facing the right direction. I can go the right way.
Do you really feel that you need that when you have a compass on the UI though?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
And the fact that you can put down waypoints that show up in the world.
Yeah, I do.
You still feel like you have to open it that often?
100%. I open my fucking minimap all the time, and it's really annoying. It's like, it really takes me out of the exploration part as I'm opening the minimap, trying to figure out if I'm going the right direction. That's just really tilting for me. I think that might be more of a personal one, though.
I think one thing about the map, once again, mouse and keyboard, like, what do you call them? Not a controller player. Lesser being, but
lesser being.
It's just that every other menu in the game works with your mouse except the map. So I get to the map and it's like you have to use your WSD to move around. It's like, ugh.
I don't know. Have you fought Radahn yet?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil Radahn though. Never mind. That was going to be my next complaint.
I'll leave the last word in Elden Ring to Cardinal. We've stayed on it for a long time.
Well, we knew we were going to.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people are using the word accessibility when in reality they mean difficulty. To me, accessibility is like a game that had fantastic accessibility that recently came out. I guess not recently, but like a while back, was The Last of Us Part 2. Because like Sony as a whole and the developer team behind that game spent so much time pouring accessibility settings into the game, to the point where like you can apply filters and overlays for like every single possible vision impairment.
Really?
And stuff.
That's cool.
You can totally change how the game looks. You can add like audio visualizers on the side of the screen so that if you're hearing impaired, you can still see what direction sounds come from. Like, they put in all the colorblind modes. They put in like the ability to be able to play the whole game with just one hand on a controller. If if you're, I don't know what the term is.
I never even heard about this. That's class.
Yeah, and like, to me, that's accessibility.
That is accessibility, yeah.
What isn't accessibility is someone saying the game is too difficult. Because one, I think that the difficulty of all Souls games, and Sekiro included, is overstated. I don't like to describe them as difficult games. They're very punishing.
Yes.
They're very punishing, because I think it's exacerbated by the fact that, let's call a spade, right? Most action RPGs that come out in recent times are so easy. They're so easy. If you play any game, and I know I'm like maybe a bit biased because I play a lot of these types of games, you play them on normal, there's no challenge. Like, and I get that. If you're playing a story-driven game, let's say God of War 2018, right? That came out on PlayStation first. If you're playing that, it's a story-driven game. It looks fantastic. It's got a really compelling narrative. The characters are awesome. The voice actors are amazing. Like, all of that is fantastic. If I'm playing it on normal versus the hardest difficulty, give me God of War, you're not losing out on the experience by playing it on normal or easy. You're still experiencing the exact same story, and you're getting the same out of it as someone who plays it on Give Me God of War, which is a bullshit difficulty, by the way, for anyone who hasn't played it. The fact that if you don't stun enemies repeatedly, they level up if you don't kill them is ridiculous.
That sounds amazing.
All they do is, they do the worst type of difficulty, which I hate in any game.
Bloated stats.
It's just enemies deal more damage and they take more damage to kill. I hate that. It's so lazy, and I hate when I see it in games. I played one of my favorite games of all time, Nier Automata. I played that on the hardest difficulty, and it just wasn't fun. Like, it wasn't fun when you get to the end of the game, because they have a system where, like in Dark Souls, where, you know, when you die, or in Elden Ring even, when you die, you drop your souls.
Yeah.
In Nier, it's worse. When you die, you drop all your upgrades.
What?
You drop all the chips that you insert
on the hardest
into
difficulty?
on any difficulty.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that,
You have to go back to your body to pick up all your chips when you die. So when you're playing on the hardest difficulty and you literally get one shot by an enemy, if you don't make it back and pick up all your chips, like some of them that are very difficult to come by, they're just gone. And that happened to me.
You're saying this, did I even use chips when I played the game? I don't remember that at all.
You probably did, but like they're not like abilities or anything. It's just like, you know, it might be like a 15% damage increase or more stats and more
the way
HP.
it does it, it has like it's almost like a memory thing where you
Like a
yeah,
RAM
no,
stick.
I remember. I
I
don't remember ever having to go back and get them. Maybe I just never died because I'm a fucking pro gamer.
But
maybe.
What they did put into Nier Automata, I was just talking to one of our co-workers about it recently, is they put chips in the game, which are basically free cost, right? They have like one attached to them out of like 100 or something.
Yeah.
Where it'll play the combat for you. And you can only slot them on easy difficulty. So if you want to experience the story of the game, you can essentially turn the combat off, because as soon as you come across an enemy, the game just takes over and plays it out for you, and you can just sit there and watch. And that's accessibility.
That's an Elden Ring as well.
Is it?
Magic.
One of the spirit ashes you get later on.
Spirit ashes, yeah, okay. You got me there, right. But the differentiation that I make, and the reason why I have a problem with people saying that it's not accessible, is that one, if you play in a certain way, it's much easier, right? I think like the build we go for, like max strength, two-handed greatsword,
high skill.
That's like you're like increasing the difficulty of the game yourself.
I felt like I was the boss in some of the fights.
Okay,
I was the one staggering them. I had more HP and I did more damage. And it was like, if you don't combo me out, I'm going to kill you, because I'm going to trade with you blow for blow, heal, and out damage you.
Yeah.
I was so satisfying though.
But
it was great.
What I mean by that is, like, if you are actively not using all the tools that the game gives you, it is objectively more difficult, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like, if you're doing that build where you're already very strong and you have a very highly upgraded weapon, and you're summoning NPCs, and you're using spirit summons, and you're using magic on top of it, it's like, okay, now I'm literally a raid boss that just goes in and murders
But
everything.
you're supposed to use them because they're in the game.
You are,
so, yeah.
But it's a choice, right? Like, if I don't want to use them, I don't have to, but then I can't complain then that the game is too difficult. It's too hard, because I'm actively... It would be like going into a fighting game and only using light attacks and being like, oh, this is too hard, I can't beat it.
I get that. How do you like? So as someone who has picked up the game and started off with my 2 scimitars and still
you chose warrior as well?
No, yeah. I started off with the 2 scimitars and I've still been using those. Like how I see that option pop up, but I don't know where it's good. I don't really fully know how to use it. Like it doesn't really.
Don't know how to use what?
Like any kind of like, you say like magic stuff or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's kind of, the game doesn't. Obviously, I'm not saying this is like an accessibility thing. I think it's more so that, because these systems are very obscured, especially for players who, like I said, are more casual. It's not necessarily like, it's not something that they're going to intuit that. Okay, I know exactly, like I know how to get this and I know how to try it out, and then I can like easily gauge the power of like, okay, this makes me like it's like strong.
Spirit Ashes are new in Elden Ring as well, so they weren't in any other games. So
yeah,
all of us Souls players are learning to use those just as much as new players.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I mean more so like, I'm not talking about like people who are like very like even familiar with like ARPGs and stuff. I'm talking about like people who might play like 1 or 2 video games a year.
Well, it's tough because like at
level.
that point, who are you catering to? You know, like it's tough to cater to someone who literally doesn't know how video games work.
That's fair. Actually, yeah, I think I'm kind of maybe that game should be ignored. But even then, I still think that I think that it can still be kind of exclusive a little bit in terms of just because of
exclusive in what way though? Exclusive in difficulty, or exclusive in accessibility?
Oh, on difficulty. I think if we're talking about accessibility as in people who would otherwise be kind of like impaired playing the games, like people with disabilities or whatever, kind of having extra access to
the tools that they need to enjoy
exactly
them.
yeah
that's accessibility.
Yeah, I'm kind of focusing on difficulty though.
Yeah, but I don't right, so I'm a little bitch, right? We all know that.
Semantics we're getting into?
No, I made this point before and I'm going to repeat it. Like I don't
I like how, by the way, this has basically just turned into the Elden Ring episode because we're closing in on time for this.
I'm going to wrap it.
Yeah.
I'll wrap up on this, right? I think that like the difficulty is overstated because gamers as a whole have been kind of conditioned that RPGs and ARPGs are like relatively easy nowadays, right? They're not punishing, right? And I would argue the person who finds Elden Ring too difficult probably played God of War on normal or easy and is then comparing that one game was extremely easy, the other is difficult because it's punishing, right? Because when you press R1 to slam your sword into the boss, if you've mistimed that,
you've committed.
Exactly.
You ain't no taking that
but
R1
I don't
back.
I don't go on forums or online and say, oh, I'm something we won't say what. But I don't go online and say, oh, I hate horror games. I can't do horror. It freaks me out and I'm a big wuss and I can't deal with that. But there's this game that came out that everyone's playing that's really cool. And I want to walk around the world and experience the nice atmosphere and the art and the music. So can the devs make a horror free mode, please? So that I don't have to deal with a core part of the whole experience. To me, that's how people sound when they say they want the difficulty taken out of Elden Ring. Not because it's like God of War or Nier Automata. Those are story-driven games. Elden Ring is not story-driven. It's really driven by combat.
It's really not story-driven.
It's a combat-driven game. So the glue that holds everything together is the combat. If you take that out, yeah, you can walk around and experience the world. But it's like playing a game with hacks. It's fun for like the first 10 minutes and then it's like, oh, well, this is kind of boring now. There's like no challenge to it. If I can just press a button and I instantly headshot everything in my game, it's like, where's the glue that holds the game together is gone. Because there is no story. Well, there is a story, but like, it's not like your
story mode in Elden Ring.
It's not driven by the story. It's driven by the combat and the hardship and overcoming challenges. And if you remove the challenge, what's left?
Maybe if I bring Margit one of his like favorite desserts, he'll stop beating me up.
Yeah, like in Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't actually want to know.
Yeah, a little tea party with Margit.
Oh yeah, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
Pat him on the head.
So that's my thoughts on Elden Ring and accessibility versus difficulty. I think, people online might call me an elitist, but I want people to enjoy the game, but I don't want the core premise of my game to be changed because people are unwilling to, invest the time into learning it or, understanding it. Yeah.
Okay. I won't say anything else either.
That's fair.
I'll stop myself.
All right. I mean, I don't know what we really have time to discuss. I had a whole thing of my own whole thing of list, and we have like maybe 10 minutes.
We speedrun something.
What else was on the list?
Okay, so basically, I had two main categories. The first one was going to be talk about like kind of I mentioned the slate of releases in 2022. Started talking about Elden Ring. Kept talking about Elden Ring. But if you think about it, like already we've had so Pokemon Arceus is kind of like this big, very very popular change in like the form of the Pokemon franchise, and like blew up in quite a way that people were talking about Pokemon like as a franchise that was releasing good game that wasn't a remake for the first time in a while. Horizon Forbidden West for the second time in its thing. I think the first Horizon released a week before
Breath of the Wild,
and this one released a week before Elden Ring, which probably are arguably, I think, the two most kind of beloved games of like the last 10 years. So yeah. But actually, funnily enough, I think you talk about that like that was in 2017 with when Horizon and Breath of the Wild came out. But that was also the year that we had Mario Odyssey. We had, I believe, Nier Automata was that year. Also Persona 5 was that year.
Oh god,
which
was
yeah,
stacked.
like that year was banging, and I remember it specifically. And given kind of the slate of releases that we've already had, and some of the games as well that like are on the horizon for later this year.
What's coming out this year?
Pardon the pun.
On the horizon, yeah.
Scarlet and Violet Pokemon are coming out.
So the new Pokemons are coming out. I don't want to put too much faith in Bethesda, but Starfield is scheduled for the end of this year.
Starfield is going to be a meme. Let's just call it like it is.
Look, it could be cool. I think it will be a meme, but it could be cool.
The WoW expansion that will save WoW is allegedly coming out this year for the 4th time in a row. So.
How can you save that which is already dead?
That's how we've said for the last 4 expansions.
But then as well, like you think of like there's still a whole 9+ months for games to kind of obviously be short kind of announcement.
What starter are you choosing in Pokemon though? Are you choosing Weed Cat? You choosing
I'm choosing Jojo Duck.
Jojo Duck or Glorp.
Jojo Duck. But yeah, I think I'm not sure how like kind of thing in terms of like impact that would be. But like even things like Gran Turismo is coming out next week, and that's like people are popping off.
It's already out.
Oh, it's already out.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's already out, and people are popping off about it.
Is that a racing game?
Yeah, it is a Zoom.
Sadly,
yeah.
I can't use my wheelbase with the PlayStation because it's not compatible. Yeah. So guess I'll die.
But yeah,
there's got to be like some weird ass fucking super long different things of connectors.
There is an interface you can buy, but it's like €100+. It's like I don't know if I can.
Like for that and the game on top, where you could just play a set of course.
Yeah.
Is there any games in particular that you guys know are coming out aside from Pokemon that you kind of are like excited for? Any kind of spicy releases that?
I think Pokemon's the only one on my horizon, to be honest. I live under a rock. Like, I only found out Elden Ring was coming out like 2 weeks before it actually came out, to be perfectly honest. Lost Ark actually was popping off.
Lost Ark has been popping off, yeah. I didn't play it myself because I just don't have the time, and I kind of feel like I think when people hit the wall in that game, they're going to hit it hard. Mm-hmm. Like,
I don't know. I thought as well, but people aren't. Like, all the streamers are still playing it, and they're all maxed, and they're all doing all the max level raids, and they're all still playing it, which I'm shocked by.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to die for like 2 weeks, so apparently Lost Ark's kind of here to stay. So maybe I should actually go ahead and
play
finish leveling. No, because I think I got to like... I will say, my good God, the leveling experience in Lost Ark is so brain dead. Holy fucking shit. You're just walking from A to B, and at least the quests are easy because they're like, kill 2 mobs. And it's like, okay, I'll kill 2 mobs. That's the quest done. But I got to like level 40, and I think I had to turn my brain on for a single dungeon. But that, granted, the dungeon was really cool. Like, the bosses in that game are fucking class. Yeah. They are so cool. And I can only imagine... I actually haven't looked at any of the streamers doing any of the endgame content, but I can only imagine it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So... although I have heard it's a casino at the endgame.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that, like, once again, I'm kind of avoiding it because the endgame systems and kind of the whole pay-to-win, the shadow of pay-to-win, it's kind of ruining it a little bit.
Pay for convenience.
Yeah. Also, I've heard that as soon as you hit level 50, it just gives you progression up to level like 60. So I don't know how. I feel like that would really annoy me. So I'm avoiding it. But the game is like fun to play. Like you said, it was kind of just one thing where you kind of level through it and you can kind of turn your brain off a little bit while you click the buttons and make everything go kaboom.
It was really cool because I played Gunslinger, and you have like 16 abilities, and you have to rotate through them all. Like
that's
every,
the rotating one. Yeah.
every like literally you use like each of those abilities at least once every 30 seconds, which is wild because you've so many fucking buttons to click. It's so fast paced. It's really fun.
It's kind of weird, like coming from League of Legends where you've got like 4 abilities and they're usually all on cooldown, so like auto attacks are a big part of it, to a game where if I'm auto attacking, then I'm playing my class wrong because my cooldowns are low enough that like because I was playing artillerist, which is you just set up a combo where you would like put down your turret and you put down like your air support and stuff, and then you would fire off a bunch of rockets while they're getting CC'd by like the airdrop coming in, and your turret's like firing at them, like lowering the defense.
Artillerist looks really cool. To be fair, I would have played Artillerist, but you couldn't be a girl.
It is very very slow, and
that is a genuine complaint. Gender lock.
Yeah,
classes.
gender lock classes. That is cool. Dumb. Not cool.
No.
But the base gameplay loop is surprisingly fun. So, Lost Ark was another cool one. I doubt this is going to be like kind of a game of the year candidate, but it's still something that obviously got a lot of hype.
Well, it's not a new game.
Yeah,
it's new over here though.
It is new, but it's like when Blade and Soul came out here. It's still an old game.
Oh god, I played Blade and Soul back when it came out in Korea.
The combat was so fun.
It was really fun. Oh my god,
really
the physics were even too much for me.
The what? Sorry.
The boo physics.
They were
What?
There was say
a
very
we're actually aggressive.
In-depth character creator in Blade and Soul.
That's where all their budget went. No cap.
But the combat in that game was fantastic.
It was also a casino though.
It was so bad that when I first played it, I had to download like a Chinese client or something to play it before it came out here. And I remember you got to like an early like story dungeon that you had to do, like kind of like the first dungeon. But in order to progress your quest, you had to get a drop from the dungeon, which was like a small % chance. And
it was so dumb.
I was leveling with a friend and I did like 3 dungeons and I got it, and then he just didn't, and he's just like, I can't continue on with you because I didn't get the drop. But
the point was because it was like a wheel thing you could spin in that game.
Into the wheel, yeah.
But you started doing it like level 10. And it gave you increased drop chances and stuff like that. So obviously it was incentivizing you to use this fucking wheel on like one of the first fucking dungeons. It was insane. But the character designs in that game were fucking adorable, to be fair. So
Cardinal, is there any games that you're kind of...
is there anything I'm looking for? I am looking forward to the upcoming content in Final Fantasy because we're getting a lot. We're getting a new Alliance raid, we're getting a new Extreme Trial, and we're getting an Ultimate.
I haven't looked at anything.
So I'm very excited for that.
I linked you the live letter.
Yeah, but I'm lazy. I can't read. I like to be shocked. I'm going to be like, dang, this new stuff.
Do you even know what the Ultimate's about?
Is it Dragon Song War?
Yeah,
I know it's Dragon Song War. That's because everybody already knew that from Shadowbringers, though. Because that's meant to be like 5.3.
Yeah, it was delayed because of COVID. So we're getting 2 apparently this year. We're getting this and most likely an Omega themed one in later in the year.
I never did the Omega raids. So that's not pretty cool.
What? But neither of you have done them.
I want to go on Alexander raids and
you didn't even do them. Even though the writer for Endwalker was like, please do Omega before you do the MSQ.
I didn't even do Shadowbringers.
I don't care what they say.
Lad, it's actually a really good raid. Like,
it probably is.
Really, really good. I won't spoil it because you haven't done it. Like, but
maybe now that I've max craft, I can do it.
There is.
Is it the Chocobo?
No, that's Alpha.
Is that the same thing?
Alpha is the little Chocobo.
Oh yeah.
This is Omega. That's the other.
Omega is the like crab robot.
Is the Chocobo not in the Stormblood raids?
Yeah.
Oh, so I am correct. Yeah.
Alpha's in the raid. That's where Alpha's from.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought I was tripping fucking balls there.
No. Alpha and Omega are the 2 like main characters of the raid. Omega is the one that's like trying to test your skills. Do you play any other Final Fantasy games?
No.
Have you?
No.
Because I didn't either. But people who have, basically like without spoiling anything really quick, the theme of the raid is Omega is like trying to find champions from other dimensions that are equal combatants to like fight you, you know.
Yeah.
And it's trying to learn like how you perform so it can beat you. And all the bosses that you fight in the early tiers are bosses from older Final Fantasy games. Like one of the bosses is a train.
Such nostalgia bait.
You fight a train.
Is it the train that? Oh
the
my
ghost
god!
Train.
So I follow Final Fan, or not, I follow Square Enix on Twitter, and they're doing like a Pixar remake of like Final Fantasy VII. So and you can like suplex a train.
You suplex a train. Yeah. That train is in the Omega Raid series.
That's pretty funny.
So I would recommend doing it.
Yeah,
it's very good.
I mean, it's something we'll get around to at some point. Probably do it before the thing. But in terms of games that I'm looking forward to, see, I was looking through the release list to see what's been confirmed. I think I was looking at things that have confirmed dates. My biggest hopium, And I don't know, did they put a date on Breath of the Wild 2?
No.
They was.
Oh,
No.
that is some.
2022.
That
It's
is
not
some.
coming out this year.
Not coming out this year.
That's some
See,
great.
that's the thing. There's
copium.
all these things that are like, we know people are working on it. Like Breath of the Wild 2.
Silk Song.
Silk Song was the other one I was
So
going to
they're
go
not
for.
working on
They
Silk Song.
are.
Get the
They
fuck
are.
over
They
it.
are.
Why
They
would
said they're
they
going to keep
not?
working
They
on it
will
until
make-
they don't want to anymore.
They will make so much money when that game releases. They will make like everyone's dying for Silk Song. I think all the Hollow Knight fans, but like
So good.
You think if both those games were to drop this year, and like some of the ones that were kind of like, you know, like
Breath of the Wild is
teased,
not dropping this year. That's
But-
a massive copium.
if it did,
But it won't.
but if it
When's
did,
Diablo 4 coming out? That's
Uh,
2024 or
well,
something.
that
like
got
that, isn't it?
delayed.
It's definitely
Yeah.
2022. but-
GTA 6 was announced as well, but we
Oh.
don't know when that's coming
Yeah, that
out.
was announced too, yeah.
there'll be no COD this year. That's another.
Yeah,
another-
no Call of Duty for the first time in the franchise's history since it started doing yearly cycles.
Why? Why?
They've just decided because basically Warzone has now cannibalized every Call of Duty game that's released since.
Yep.
So
That's the Battle Royale one, right?
yeah, the new Call of Duty comes out, like Call of Duty Vanguard, for example, and people play it for like a few days, and then everyone just goes back
Go
to
back
Warzone,
to Warzone.
and they don't sell any more copies, and they don't sell any like live service stuff in it. So they're like, okay, we're taking a break this year, and we're gonna come back with something else like next year.
I mean, that makes
That's
a lot. That makes a
interesting.
lot of sense. But
That just shows you how much like money Warzone is making from its player base. Like if they're willing to not release a Call of Duty.
That,
Yeah.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing as well, I think, and this will probably bring us to the end of the show, is that when we're talking about kind of these releases and stuff, one thing to mention is that there's also no E3 this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it not?
No
No.
E3.
no
Why
E3,
not?
which
been
is like
cancelled.
I was thinking in terms of, oh, well, we'll probably get these announcements like around the middle of the year when E3 happens, and it's like, oh yeah, wait a second, that's not happening.
But see, more publishers and developers are now basically just doing their own thing. Like you
Yeah,
have
like
Nintendo
Sony and all do
Direct,
their own
you have
thing,
the
right?
what's
Yeah.
do Sony call it? Sony something Play? Like
remember.
State of Play.
Yeah,
That's what
something
Sony
like
do.
I think it is. Yeah,
You have like the Microsoft showcases and Xbox. They normally do that at E3, but they've also done their own like
Yeah.
in the past. They go to Gamescom as well, I think. Like a lot of companies are now just kind of doing their own reveal events at not E3.
It makes a lot more sense, to
Yeah.
be perfectly
kinda
honest.
does.
Like,
I think it was just something that they adapted to over the course of like the pandemic when like they couldn't.
Oh, and the Game Awards. They basically just advertised games now as well at the Game Awards.
yeah, well
they
that's
just-
yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually watched the Game Awards.
They're good for watching for the cringe. They are.
Are they crazy?
Kinda.
They are. They are.
Also, actually, that's something
They're not as bad as DJ Khaled at Overwatch League, but they're.
I didn't
up
even
there.
know that was a thing. I'm gonna have to go Google that after this
I'll-
now.
I'll show you
What the
proudly.
fuck?
I'd actually forgotten this. That reminds me. I played It Takes Two over the last while.
Oh, yeah.
That's very good game.
That is the
I was
perfect like
very surprised.
significant other game.
I was about to say I'm
Yep.
too single. I'm too single to play
Yeah.
these two.
We'll play it together. It's fine, and we can just be sad.
We can have to
You
hold
guys
hands
go
at the
back
same
in.
time.
No, it is really nice. One thing as well, actually, I was meant to bring that up when you're talking about Elden Ring, is that it is really good to play with someone like if you don't want to play with a special someone that maybe isn't so familiar with games. Thankfully, my girlfriend kind of like knows how video games work mostly, but has like lots of extra things that would help you out in terms of like not only teaching you the controls, but also like a lot of prompts that will like help you. But the game is also quite simple in terms of
Yeah, there's not many
I mean,
buttons.
it's like
to it,
it's a well, I say it's simple, but there's so many different mechanics in that game.
It's like a load of games in one. I've
Yeah,
heard. Yeah.
like I was thinking, in fairness, most of it also existed in Ratchet and Clank. Like, it feels like every 30 minutes we just go, oh, here's a mechanic from Ratchet and Clank. You know, wall jumping. We got like swing shot stuff. We have obviously sometimes you get guns and you're just firing those at people. But like, it's really cool how, like Cardinal said, there's like loads of like small different games kind of into one. Like at one point, you're basically just given an ARPG where one of you becomes a wizard, and another's like a warrior, and you have to go like, but your wizard and warrior have different mechanics as well. Like the warrior can jump over gaps, and the wizard can teleport through walls and stuff like that. So, or through like bars like jail cells and things like that.
That's one of those games I hope to eventually not be single
Yeah,
enough
it
to
is.
play.
It was extremely good. But yeah, that one game of the year last year.
Did it?
Didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Yep.
It was.
I've
given
heard
Game
it was
Gear.
really, really good.
And I
so
was
yeah.
like, now I can kind of see why, because it was like
It was very out of left field, but when you think about what came out last year, there
Yeah.
wasn't really much to pick from. Like,
it also just after playing it, it was a massive
Yeah,
breath of
last
fresh
year
air.
was
So
a-
I'm
last
actually
year was a
really
good
happy.
show.
it
Here's
won.
Battlefield 2042, man. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who also managed to blame Halo Infinite for their awful performance, because Halo Infinite was so polished that gamers expected too much.
Battlefield 2042 was a Questy winner. So
That
It
is
was,
true. It did
it
win
was.
something
It was
very
a Questy
prestigious.
winner.
Will it retain its title though next year? We'll have to wait.
But
and
it's not
see.
coming out this year, so
It's not, but we could make an exception.
We can make a Battlefield 2042 award.
It's a live service game.
Then it'll be immortalized.
It's like when Fortnite wins, best ongoing game, even though it's been out for like years.
Did it actually win best ongoing game last year?
It usually always does, like every year.
Fortnite's wild, man.
But like now you can be Master Chief, and you can be Batman, and you can be Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande in Fortnite.
And Sakura from Naruto just going people down.
Oh, it's so fucking wild.
I believe we are we're a bit over time, so we'll wrap it up there. 2022 set to be a pretty crazy year. Any final thoughts from yourselves?
Touch Grace.
Yeah, it's now no longer Fashion Souls, it's Elden Bling.
Bling. Fashion Souls was the thing.
Yeah, Fashion Souls. At the end of the game, like, it doesn't matter what army you wear, you just have to look cool.
Get out your drip.
Get out the drip.
Can I get the Goku drip jacket in Elden Ring? That has to be a mod.
There's a mod for everything.
I need that. Okay, sorry.
Elden Ring. Yeah, I mean, probably set to be pretty good. Elden Ring's probably going to win Game of the Year. I don't really see it.
It should. If it doesn't, it's robbed.
Like, well, I don't think it'll be robbed. I think there would have to be an absolutely massive release to match it.
It'll have to be robbed because that just won't happen.
We'll see. Maybe they
watch Horizon Forbidden West get Game of the Year over Elden Ring.
If that happens, there will be riots in the streets of Twitter. But
there's going to be serious consequences if Horizon. Like, and I'm not a Horizon hater, but like, come on,
it'll be funny. It'll be justice.
I'm just gonna stop talking.
No, I mean, like I said, it's a good game. So I would like there to be another good game to match it, because that would obviously mean we've got more good games to play. But also, it kind of opens up a bit of debate. But Elden Ring's very good, so I'd be surprised.
Among Us update could take Elden Ring spot.
Huh?
Where has they're making Among Us 16 players?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's gonna be spicy.
I don't even have 16 friends.
Last time they updated Among Us, no one wanted to play it.
Yeah, but like this time it's 16 players.
It was 15 players last time.
Could you imagine 16 people in Discord?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know that.
But wasn't that with a mod?
10 players.
It was not 15 players for Among Us last update.
Maybe you're misremembering them.
Among Us 2
Sussy.
Game of the Year.
Among Us 2 best of the year. Yeah.
Alrighty, we're gonna call it there. Thank you everybody for watching. We're gonna go back to our main quest. So, see you next time.
Goodbye.
Peace.